Hello, good morning. Nice to meet you again. This is Louis from English CC channel. How are you all? Hope you have enjoyed my previous video. And as I had mentioned earlier, this is the continuation of my previous video. And I'll try to complete the grammar item called question tag. We will discuss some more. Now what have to be discussed and how can we write a correct question tag for various statements in English. Now in the previous video, if you had listened or if you had seen or watched it carefully, I was trying to explain or I was trying to tell you that if your statement is positive, tag should be negative, and if your statement is negative, the tag should be positive. Now this will have to be very, very clear, and I'll try to explain to you with an example. Sometimes you may have the auxiliary verb in a sentence, sometimes you may not have the auxiliary verb in a sentence. So in that situations, how will you write a question tag for a statement? Now let me tell you, let me go to the whiteboard and see what can be done there. Just listen to me carefully and observe. See now, I have written a sentence here. The students can sing well. Now you have an auxiliary verb can, and it is easy for us to frame a question tag for this sentence because your statement is positive and you have the auxiliary verb. So naturally the tag should be negative and your question tag is contd. But then look at the second sentence here. The students sang well. What is this verb here? Sang. And your subject is students. Now, since you don't have the auxiliary verb, how can you write a question tag here? See now? Now that's what I told you, and your verb is past tense here. And how can you split this verb? Since this is past tense, your auxiliary verb should be did. So did plus sing, you can split that. But then when it comes to question tag, since it is your positive question statement, and your tag should be negative. So therefore, did the students sang well? Didn't they? So this is your question tag. You understand what I mean? Because if your statement is negative, your tag should be positive. So depending upon the nature of the verb and the usages of the verb in a sentence, you have to make yourself comfortable and make up your mind how to split the verb before we start to write the question tag for those kind of sentences. Now we move on to the next rules that we have in writing correct question tag. See now, sometimes the sentences you will come across maybe imperative, and those imperative sentences actually they will suggest, suggestion, obligation, ordering, so on. So you can expect lot of informations with regard to the ordering or requesting. So depending upon the nature of the sentence, it is going to be an imperative sentence. Now what is our rule there? An imperative sentence will begin with the verb. That's what we have learned earlier. So an imperative sentence will begin with the verb, and if it is an order, it will either begin with the don't, or straight away you will have a sentence beginning with any kind of verb there. So if you have an imperative sentence, and if you are asked to have a question tag or frame a question tag for that, what are you supposed to do? Remember, for imperative sentences, your question tag will be, see, will you? Will. See, for example, join us for dinner tomorrow. This is an example of an imperative sentence. Join is your verb. Join is your verb, and this is again a positive statement. But then, since it is a different sentence here altogether, an imperative sentence, and when your sentence is imperative, remember to use the auxiliary verb will, and then you is your pronoun there. Now, if the same imperative sentence is going to be requesting or polite way of asking or information, see, please bring me a glass of warm water. Now, since you need to insist the politeness of the speaker, instead of will, what you have to write? You write would. So please bring me a glass of warm water. You say would you instead of will you. Okay, so this is an example of writing a question tag for an imperative sentence in English. Now see, sometimes your sentences will be having be verb. Now you know what are be verbs in English? Am, is, are, not, was, were. So all these verbs are be verbs in English. And so when you have the be verb in English, and if you are asked to change a sentence, or if you are asked to frame a question tag for those kind of sentences, remember the verb am or be form of the verb which is given in a sentence. The verb am does not have an impact, does not have an ending as amn't, because it is not a correct way of using in English. The present rules and regulations in grammar does not allow us. So instead of am, it is used as aren't. So am takes aren't. Try to remember that. See, for example, I am very busy. So am is a be verb. And what's your question tag? Aren't I? So are not I is expanded form. Since we are asked to use the contracted form of the auxiliary verb here, so we are using aren't I. This is yet another example to write a question tag. Sometimes in English you have sentences beginning with the word let's. So let's join a party tomorrow. So when you come across a sentence beginning with the let's, remember to use the question tag shall we. See, shall we. And let's prepare for the party, shall we. So few informations that we need to be very, very clear. Alright. So this is more or less a few informations that I have guided you to write a correct form of question tag in English. Now if I give you 2 or 3 sentences, for example, if I give you 2 or 3 sentences, I write and show you. For example, see, the children are happy. The children are happy. So what is your verb here? Are. Is the statement positive or negative? This is positive. So therefore your tag should be aren't they? Aren't they? Let's take another example. We enjoyed the picnic. We enjoyed the picnic. Now again, it's an example where we don't have the auxiliary verb and your tense is past tense, verb is in past tense. So how will you split this word? How will you have an auxiliary verb here? By splitting the verb enjoyed by did plus enjoyed. So you have an auxiliary verb what is known as did. So what is the question tag for this one here? We enjoyed the picnic and your tag is didn't we? See? Didn't we? Don't commit this mistakes again. Don't commit these mistakes again. So don't commit these mistakes again. So what is your sentence? It's an imperative sentence beginning with don't. So what is your question tag here? Will you? See? Will you is the answer. Shall we conclude this question tag video with this sentence? Shall we? Yes. So, my dear viewers, this is very important. This is very simple and important to know that question tags in English are very, very simple. If you can understand it clearly, the type of sentences that we have in English, and if you can understand the rules and regulations to some extent very correctly, you can easily be thorough and be confident in writing the answer to the question tag. I hope This video will help you to have a better understanding of question tag. Now, as I had suggested earlier, please view my teaching, please view my help and post your suggestions. Tell your viewers or tell your friends to view and be benefited by this. So subscribe this channel if possible, and I would wish more of subscriptions to reach in the next few days, so that depending upon the help or depending upon the interest that the subscribers have, I may have a lot of inputs when I begin to display or send another video in another grammar item. So in this way, as I had told you, I am ready to help you in all kinds of grammar items in English. So please try to encourage me, the teachers like me, so that it will be easy for me to help you to understand English grammar better. Thank you. See you again.